Alright you guys, as promised, here's the short version. If you want the long version with all the details, check the link in the description. Let's get to work. You're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver. I got one of these little flatheads. This will make your life a lot easier. If you've got those turtle safe straws, you probably got one of these brushes. If not, you can pick these up super cheap at the store. And then obviously a bottle brush. Alright, so top tank. We're gonna soap the outside, get that nice and clean. A little vinegar on the inside and some hot water. My lovely wife makes some lemon vinegar for cleaning. Soap down the outside. So we'll get the brush in there. Really focus on the corners. And then again, this little brush from the straws. Right in the hole. Make sure you get that clean all the way through. And a rinse with hot water. Let both of those straws drain into the sink. Once the unit's drained all the way, sometimes you need a pair of pliers. If you just squeeze these little clips, and then the hoses come off real nice and easy. You can run the brush through these and give them a rinse with some hot water. On the top of here, there are 4 little rubber plugs, okay? And then 4 Phillips head screws. Right, there's a plug right here up underneath, that's a sensor. All right, so to understand the inner workings, this is your tank, this is a reservoir. This feeds the ice unit, okay? This is the chute that goes down into your bin. And then that silver thing, you can't see it's silver right now, but that's the actual ice maker. That's the part that gets cold and makes your ice, okay? The pump and all the hoses are down here. I'll show you that in a minute. This thing will be nastier than you expect. So it has this little UV light that shines in here that's supposed to help sterilize. And then there's a water level sensor. Okay, all of this can come apart. I'll show you how. But this thing gets nasty. So if you're getting mold and mildew inside the bin, you probably have a bunch inside here. You're going to want to clean that up. So next step, we'll take these screws off the back panel, and then this back panel comes out of the way. We'll take these screws out of the top, 6 of them, and then I'll show you how to get the front off. So 8 screws across the back here, 9 I guess. Okay, and the back panel comes off. We've got 6 big screws across the top. It's a little confusing. There's 2 screws here that hold on this front plastic piece. You don't need to undo those. Okay, just like that. All right, we'll give you a little tour on the inside of your Opal. So these are the 2 hoses, right? This one goes to the tank. You can see in there I've got some brown nastiness going on, right? I've had some water leak in here before. So then back here is your pump. If your pump quits working, that's where it's at. You got these hoses. Every once in a while, and it looks like I'm going to get to do it today, you get some gunk in these hoses. You got to pop these apart. When you do it, what I recommend personally, go find the ones where the clips are at, undo it at the clips. So there's one there. And then if you see, this hose comes around the back and up. There's a clip right here. Okay. This is your chiller unit. Here's your fan, keeps the motor cool. This is your part of your air conditioning system. So that's your accumulator, right? So all this comes through here. There's your heat exchanger. Make sure, since we got it apart, clean those out. What I like to use is a little toothbrush and go real careful. You don't want to bend those fins. Okay, so then this comes down here. You got the one hose that goes onto the pump, and then you got this one that goes underneath of the machine to your 2 nipples. Okay, so the float and the water tank, these go all the way into the brain box on the other side. For the float, there's a little C-clip right here. Okay, clip comes off, float comes off. This clip will come off. Okay, this whole thing, I'll clean it off with a sponge and soap. I'm going to do this for you guys. So these 2, right? You come in here, inside the brain box. Okay, this plug right here, that's the one for your UV light. And then this skinny little one right here goes right behind that mass of wires. Skinny one's right down there. Okay, so let's say you want to take this apart. These two little tabs right here, that's threaded. Undo that screw. You can push this whole housing and the lens out. All right, so to get this tank off, you got this one hose here. Again, might need pliers, but you're also going to need to take this plastic cover off the top, 3 screws on that. When you take this off, be careful. There's foam tape that goes all the way around this front edge to seal it up, right? The tape will unstick. I ripped mine already, but the tape will unstick if you just take your time and go careful. 2 screws here. And I forgot the 2 screws right there. Okay, water tank lifts out. I'll just make sure and scrub this out really, really good on the inside. All right, so now because I'm gonna be cleaning these hoses, I'm gonna take this apart right here, take this T out, start with this one, feed that out real careful like. So I'm gonna just do it right here. Take this one off of here. Carefully feed that through. All right, so now we'll clean this out. Next up, I'm gonna clean inside the holes up here. Okay. And then we have the inside of the unit itself. This is the little filter. Take that little flat screwdriver real carefully. Where's the spot? You get in there, you pry this apart, clean that out with a toothbrush. So you'll run this in from the back side, clean the plumbing, this whole tank, we'll clean it out with a sponge. All right, so now that it's all disassembled and cleaned, we're gonna give it like 30, 45, let everything kind of dry out a little bit, then we'll put her back together. Here's a breakdown, right? Because I know it's gonna be easy to get confused. The hoses, okay, these are the 4 screws that go to the lid. These are the 8 that hold the back panel on. Those are very much identical to the 6 that hold the top on. You have these 3 right here that hold this plastic cover on. You have 2 of these in the side of the side tank and 2 of these in the front of the side tank, okay? And then there's your hoses and your float and all your bits. So again, this just tucks around the back of the unit. The spring side goes against the unit where there's a tight bend. So this one, as you can see, goes back here underneath of the motor. Put this little straw thing in here and then put the hose on the straw cleaner. And then that helps you feed it through like that. So then this one plugs onto the pump side. Plug this one in here. And then this other end plugs in to the outlet. And then we just kind of get it all tucked in there. Plug this in here. All right. So the 2 screws with the washer heads go up here. The 2 button heads go over here. All right. Now we'll put the float back together. Okay, so if you're like me and you took this apart, the lens goes in, sensor goes in, and then this threads in. Finger tight, doesn't have to be wrenched down super hard. You just want to make sure that that lens seals up against there. Now, we go to put this back together. I'm going to put one of these snap rings on. The float, it's got a magnet in it. It's got a side that says top. Top goes up. And we'll put the other snap ring on. This will clip back on here. Then we'll tuck these wires back in on the other side. Next up, we'll put the cover back on this. So again, you got that foam tape, it's a little sticky. You got to get everything lined up. And then once you're in place, 3 screws. Okay, Now we'll put the cover back on. And you want to make sure that the flange tucks in all the way around on the bottom. Just like that. 6 screws on the top. And then we can plug these back in. Okay, back cover. Okay, so we'll put our 6 screws in this and get the back buttoned up. So these go through the back panel, through the side panel, and into the frame. Now we'll put the lid on, and then we'll get the hoses. Plug in the sensor, 4 screws. Four plugs. So, little bracket, tube A, tube B for the side tank. Snap the filter back together, and the filter goes in. Bucket back in. There you go. Deep clean. That whole project took me about an hour and a half, including the time that it took for the thing to dry out. So it's not too bad. Just kind of sucks having to run the brush through all those little nooks and crannies, but worth it when you're done. The ice tastes better, at least in my opinion. All right, thanks everybody. See you soon.